a $175 order with me. So this was a Winnie the Pooh themed order for a baby shower. So I did my base colors in this light pastel yellow, baby pink, and I also did a nude color, which you'll see soon. I basically just did 1 drop of Color Mills brown food coloring into a lot of white chocolate, so it gave like this off-white shade. So here I'm dipping my Rice Krispies. I used these honey sticks I got off of Amazon as the sticks, which I think are so cute and really just pull the whole Winnie the Pooh theme together. This is my 4 dozen classic party package. It usually comes with 1 dozen Rice Krispies, Oreos, pretzels, and Cakesicles. However, this client just wanted Rice Krispies and pretzels, so I did 2 dozen Rice Krispies and 2.5 dozen pretzels. She added an extra half dozen. So here I'm just dipping those as well. I made all of my decor ahead of time, so you'll see me putting that on afterwards. I love the shape of these pretzels. I think that they're just so cute, and they kind of just look more cohesive. I used to use the rods, and honestly these are easier to make too. You can see in the back with the pink pretzels, I didn't like the original pink that I had. It kind of came off as white on the pretzel, but like I just added a bit more pink and it came out a lot brighter and a lot cuter. So here I'm doing my decorations. I'm piping some yellow chocolate onto the top of the Rice Krispies, and I'm topping it out to make it look like honey is dripping down it. And this just gives a really, really cool like effect of it being a honey pot. And so to make it look like Winnie the Pooh's honey pot, I took some edible wafer paper and I cut it out into little squares or rectangles, and I wrote the word honey on it, and so it just looks like a little honey pot, which I think is so cute. I love it. I did the same honey drip on the pretzels. I think they looked a bit like more classy without the honey on it. So yeah, they just look so cute and just so like, I don't know, I love the look of like the honey overflowing on the treat. I did these like honeycomb molds. They came in bigger pieces, and then I just broke them so they could fit a bit better, and I kind of like that every piece is a little unique. So I did smaller pieces on the centers of the pretzels. I usually follow the rule of sticking to like 3 to 4 designs, just so everything's like cohesive. I know a lot of other treat makers do this as well. So I took some sunflower molds, and I also put a few like sunflowers in the middle of the pretzels. I think pretzels I don't usually do a lot of decor on. I just like having them look classy and clean. So this is my favorite design that I did. It's a little bee trail, which is so cute. So I basically took some black chocolate and a toothpick, and I just traced out a little bee trail. This one is in the shape of a heart, which, oh my gosh, I love it so much. And then I took these chocolate bees that I made with a mold, and I put it on the end so it looks like the bee's flying. This was the final result. I hope you like it. Was $175 enough? Make a Coquette themed order with me. So this order was for a bridesmaid proposal, which was so cute, and the color scheme was dusty rose, white, gold. Those were her wedding colors, and I also threw in a lighter pink too to kind of break up the different colors. And so here I'm dipping my Rice Krispies. I achieved that dusty rose color you saw in the beginning by doing, I think, 2 parts baby pink by Color Mill and 3 parts brown by Color Mill, and I was able to get a really nice dusty shade. I'm also dipping it in some white. I do all my Rice Krispies first because I find that it's easier to dip it when the container is as full as possible. Now I'm dipping my pretzels. This is my classic party package, so it came with 4 dozen treats, Rice Krispies, pretzels, Oreos, and it usually comes with Cakesicles, but this client upgraded to cake hearts, which you'll see at the end. I'm dipping these in Merkin's white chocolate melting wafers. These are the super white ones, which are super helpful in achieving like really vibrant, bright colors without a lot of food coloring. Color Mill is my go-to gel food coloring. I use it with every order. So here I am dipping all my pretzels. I'm getting started on my Oreos. These are probably the easiest thing to make for me. All you do is just put some chocolate in the bottom of your mold, press down the Oreo, and just cover up the backs as best as you can. I do my best to make these as thin as possible because I don't like when there's too much chocolate. I feel like it's too overpowering. So I just really do my best to make sure it doesn't fill up the mold completely. So here I'm decorating, which is the best part. I took these gold frames and I put a little bow inside. It's so cute. I'm adding some roses. She wanted it to be really cute and coquette. She specifically requested the gold and the flowers and the bows, and It's just so adorable. I added some of these white sprinkles as well. This design is so elegant. I got it from XO Simply Sweet. She was the inspiration behind this particular design, and it was so cute. It just looks so elegant. I got these gold frames to be gold by taking some vanilla extract and mixing it with edible gold luster dust. And I'm doing the same thing on the Oreos. I basically do the same designs on all of my treats, more or less. I do some alterations, like here on the Oreos, I do a smaller frame to make it fit better. And it kind of just gives everything a very cohesive look. I plan it out ahead of time, like what I want my looks to look like. But if you notice, the Oreos have the same designs as the Rice Krispies, and the pretzels are a little bit different because they're shaped differently. I'll do an infinity loop like you see here. I usually just put a little bit of decor in the middle. I'm taking that edible gold luster dust mixture and I'm tapping it onto the pretzel to get like a gold splatter effect with like a paintbrush, and it gives a really cool effect. Here's the final video. What do you think? Do you think that this came out nice? Do you want a tutorial on the cake hearts? Because I can definitely do that, but I think everything came out so cute. It's my favorite.
Day one of weekend order preps. So I actually started off with doing my chocolate covered Oreos. My customer requested golden Oreos. So basically what I do is I like to go ahead and cut all of my edible images if I'm using them. And just a little tip for anybody who uses edible images, always make the image a little bit bigger than the size of your mold. So my mold is 2 inches. So I usually make mine like 2.5 inches, and then I'm able to cut the image perfectly how I want it, and it doesn't show all those black lines and things of that sort. So just a little tip for anybody who needs that. So I went ahead and did that. The theme of the baby shower is a little honey is on the way. So I went ahead and did some Winnie the Pooh vintage treats. So I did some with little honeys on it. I did some with some bees, and made it look like they were flying, and some had the edible images on it. My Oreos are $60 per dozen, and she ordered 2 dozen. Let me know if you guys like these type of videos. I will continue to show you guys this order the rest of the week. Like and follow for more. Day 2 of making a $559 order. The theme is a little honey is on the way, and it is a gender neutral baby shower. Today we're working on the Rice Krispie treats. So what I did was I went ahead and got some of these honeycomb sticks, and I just started placing them inside of my Rice Krispie treats. I also made some chocolate frames to put over my edible images, and then I began the dipping process of each one, and then I pulled the frames out of them. I know a lot of people struggle with this part. Honestly, I just hold my breath and pray that it doesn't crack. If it does crack, we just start all over again. So then some of them, again, like the Oreos, I put some bees, and then I made some honey pots, and that was that for the blue ones. And then I started working on the dusty rose pink ones, and I repeated the same process. Dipped the Rice Krispie treats, added some frames for the edible images, made some honey pots, and then started putting my bees and my lines for those. And this is how these came out. Like and follow for the rest of the order. Day 3 of working on a $559 order. Today we're working on the chocolate covered apples. If you know me, you know I love apples. They are my favorite thing to dip. So let's get into it. I started off as always with the dusty pink, added some bees and made it look like they were flying. The next thing I did was went ahead and made some honey pots. So I went ahead and put the word honey on there, grabbed me some yellow chocolate, and made the honey drizzle coming down the top of the apple. And then finally for these ones, I did some edible images on some frames and stuck those to the apples. And then I began with the blue, green, whatever, because y'all be in my comments acting crazy. Same thing. Added some honey to those, and then went ahead and started working on the bees for those. Made some lines, made it look like they were flying, and then for some of them I switched it up a little bit. So I went ahead and made some honey, and then made it look like the bee actually flew into the honey, and got stuck. So we love that one as well. And then I went ahead and finished those ones off. The total for the apples was $270 for 1.5 dozen, and this is what they look like all boxed up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Day 4 of making a $559 order. Today we're doing the strawberries, and let me say, wash them strawberries. Don't be out here selling those strawberries that's dirty. And then wash them again because that water is still dirty. And then wash them again because that water is still dirty. So I went ahead and started off by dipping the strawberries. This is in the Dusty Rose Pink color. And then I also went ahead and dipped some sage green ones. And then, of course, I went ahead and added some bumblebees with some lines to make it look like they're flying. And then I did some infinity drizzle on those. Then I made the honey pots, of course, because what is Winnie the Pooh? A little honey is on the way without honey pots. And then I repeated the same process for the sage green ones, honey pots, infinity drizzle, as well as the bees that are flying. And then after that, I went ahead and boxed them up. And this is what they look like all packaged up. I charged $65 per dozen for these, and the customer ordered 2 dozen. And this concludes the entire order. I'm going to post the next video with everything that was included in the order. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. Bye.
Hey, Sweet Lovers is making order together. This one's going to be a long one, so let's get right into it. I had some leftover pink chocolate from my order previously. I added some white because I wanted it to be kind of a baby pink color. So as I'm about to be mixing the pink, I added in some white because I did want it to be a little bit lighter of a baby pink. It was too bright for me. My customer ordered a breakable heart and 6 strawberries. They wanted it to be Will You Be My Valentine's theme, and I was so excited to make this order. So now I'm here preparing the breakable heart. I got this mold from, I think it was All a Dream shop, I believe. So what I do, I like to pour the chocolate down in the middle. I use a spatula to spread it along the sides. And then I do about 2-3 layers of this. I think it gives me the best coverage and it doesn't crack or anything when I'm taking out the mold. Now I'm doing the letters. The customer wanted it to be pink and white theme. So I decided to do a pink heart with white letters. Usually when I do my letters, I do it in all capital letters. But I think with this order, I wanted it to be just a capital letter for the first letter in each word, and then the rest in lowercase. And I think that would look better, and I was right with that. So I did that, and I did X and O's. I then filled in some hearts with white chocolate to add for some decor on the heart and strawberries. At this moment, I didn't really know exactly how I was going to do it, but I made hearts anyway. Now it's time for the part I think everyone enjoys to see the most, the strawberry dipping. Even though this customer requested 6 strawberries, I always like to do 1 extra just in case I don't like the designs. And with this order, I'm so glad I did 7 because when I was doing the drizzle, I did not like how the first one came out. I did want to break up this order into 2 parts. So this one was just the basics, and then the next part that I'm going to post, you'll see me do all the decorating, which is probably my favorite part. Hey, sweet lovers, so we are back with part 2 on this Valentine's Day order. If you didn't see part 1, it should be up on my page now, so go see that video, show some love. After I finished with the breakable heart, I did about 4 layers of this, I believe. And then once I take it out the fridge, it's kind of easy to just slide under because you have a lot of layers, a lot of chocolate. So it's easy to slide out of the mold, and that's what it looked like when it was all finished. Usually with my designs, I like to split it into 3 and 3. So I did 3 strawberries with the infinity design, and then I did 3 strawberries with drizzle and sprinkles on the side. And then with those, I added like the XO and the hearts to it. As I mentioned before, I added the XO to some of the berries, and then I added some hearts to the other ones after the fact. This is the final step of the order, and this is where everything really starts to come together. I started adding the letters to the breakable heart. I add the letters before I use the chocolate to stick it down to kind of get the placement of where I want everything. Next thing you know, I stick it one at a time, and then I can't go back and really change it. I then took my piping bag and sticked on each letter one by one. I used tweezers for this. I don't remember who I saw this from. Pretty sure I saw it on TikTok. But the tweezers helped me with accuracy and helped me place it down properly. I then went ahead and added some hearts to the breakable heart. I felt like it was missing something, and the hearts really tied it all together for the theme. This is what the heart looked like when I was all finished, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Hey, sweet lovers, so I'm back with the final part of this order, the packaging. With all my orders now, I include marshmallows. I used to include crinkle paper, but now I just strictly include marshmallows as the packaging. For all my breakable heart orders, I include a custom note of their choice, and my customer just wanted me to ask them again, will you be my Valentine, with a yes or no in the text box, and that's exactly what I did for them, so that's why I showed you there. I then began to add my breakable heart and berries on top of that, the 3s, drizzled the 3 sprinkled with the XO and molds on there. I added my thank you / care card with my business card in it. I always add glitter on my orders, can't go wrong with glitter on it to make it nice and sparkly. I then go ahead and add some marshmallows around the side to add as a filler. I think the marshmallows help everything stay in place better. I added a mallet because you need a mallet for a breakable heart. And now I'm just repositioning everything and make sure I like where everything is, adding the marshmallows for extra support. And that's pretty much how I package my orders. Thank you guys for all your love and support on my recent videos, and I appreciate every last one of you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.